What's up, Brewers listeners? It feels like it's been a while for us, but let me introduce our host before we get into the meat and potatoes of stuff. I'm here with Erica and sound guy Ryan. What's up, everybody? What's up?
Hi.
Hey, clearly I've been watching like YouTube videos because I sounded like one of those YouTube people like, what's up? Come watch me open toys.
Yeah.
What's up, boys and girls? We're back to another episode.
Yeah. But we got some announcements to make.
Indeed.
As many of you know, Ryan owns a fish market. His family runs a fish market.
There you go.
And it's getting into busy season.
It's very busy.
And Brewers is expanding. Ryan's not leaving. This is not like a sob story. Ryan's not leaving.
See ya.
I know. Don't cry yet.
Please don't leave. We are going to actually be going to bi-weekly episodes.
Yep.
And what that's going to do for the listeners is we're going to be able to focus more on the breweries in those weeks to hype up those breweries, give them the exposure that we feel that they deserve. And also, it gives us an opportunity to expand into some more content. If you've noticed, we have kind of got some sort of following on TikTok now.
Yeah, our TikTok has blown up.
Yeah,
so make sure you're following us.
Smash
there.
the subscribe button.
Smash it.
No, but seriously, a lot of our listeners have crossed over from Instagram to TikTok and translated from our podcast area. So it's really awesome to see. So we're going to be doing some more YouTube content, some more TikTok content, and going to those breweries, kind of giving you a video aspect of those breweries because, very frankly, the audio tells a great story. But if you can see some of these cool places like we're at today,
You'd really fall in love.
you'd really fall in love.
Yeah.
And you get to see the people that we're talking with. So we're not canceling the podcast. Podcast isn't ending. We are just going down to more. And who knows? We might go back if we get more feedback.
You never know.
We might go down to once a month.
No.
Shifting to a multimedia platform.
Yeah, we are.
Fun words.
Yeah, we're calling it a multimedia platform. And Elon Musk is buying us. Like he's buying.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. So
What's one more?
Shit,
What's
That's
one more
what it is.
business, right?
Yeah,
That's
so,
what it is.
We
Couple-
were
couple
not,
more billion?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were not 43 billion, but
Pretty
I have to
close,
say
though,
we were
I
like
mean.
38.7. He said, "Well, whatever." He did it. It's great. So yeah, where are we today?
We are at Merrimack Ales
That's
in
right.
Lowell, Massachusetts.
So fun facts about Merrimack Ales.
It's not in Merrimack.
It's not. Yes, thank you.
Merrimack Valley, right?
That's a
Correct.
fact.
Yeah.
And there's a big body of water that's also called the Merrimack River.
Oh, yeah, right. That one.
That's
Yeah,
where the
yeah.
name comes from. Yeah.
We're going to find out because I would encourage our listeners, go back into the Wayback Machine. Episode 3. Episode 3. Can you believe that?
Can you believe that?
Episode 3.
May
Almost
17th,
5 years ago.
2017. 5 years ago, by the time this releases. We sat down with Adam and Pat Auclair, close friend of the podcast. He's no longer at Merrimack, but he's doing great things where he works right now. And a lot has changed. I listened back to the episode. We sucked back then, so thanks for doing this again.
Give him a chance. Give you another chance.
I can't say that we're much better, but it's not just me. I have 2 co-hosts now, so
So we're all just
They're-
in it together at this point. Yeah.
when you know your limitations,
Yeah.
You brought an entourage this
throw
time.
out an
Yes,
entourage, yeah.
yes.
But you weren't here, and you're a lot bigger than Pat, so
Yeah.
I could mess with Pat. You, not so much.
Well, Pat might be a little better looking. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm a little bit more modest.
Yeah.
Just
He does wear
Hi,
those
Pat.
short shorts. Yeah. I know. So a lot's changed. We were joking off air. Obviously, you could not have foreseen. I didn't have the foresight to ask. What would you see yourselves in 5 years, or what was it? What do you think?
Your
is the future?
5-year plan.
But obviously, with the pandemic, you couldn't have predicted that. So let's kind of not skirt around that. But what's changed for Merrimack Ale, and why don't you just introduce yourselves as well, just because if our
Remind
listeners,
people.
yeah, remind people.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
It's been 5 years.
So I'm Adam Pearson. I'm the owner guy. Joe Beauregard, our sales guy.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, God, a lot has changed. You guys were here about a year after we first opened.
Yeah, there were a lot less fermenters here. There were a lot.
Well, yeah, and at that time, since right now we're sitting in our tap room space, we didn't have one of those then. All of our early customers will fondly remember the days of our little jockey box and the 3 taps that we would run in and switch kegs and pour free samples and there
Fond
you go.
memories.
Yeah. So one of the big objectives in the multi-year plan was accomplishing this, getting the city to go along and license the tap room, which we got open October of 2019, and got it up on plane, nice and busy, and then Shazam, St. Patrick's Day week 2020, it all shut down.
Yeah.
And like you say, nobody saw that coming. Where I think we were fortunate was that we were just getting the tap room going, but our early going was that we were a self-distro brewery. So we had beer out in stores.
In the wild, yeah.
Yeah, and it helped. And the tap room had been open, I think, just long enough that we got our mug club launched and sold all those very quickly. And those folks kept us floating during the first 6 months of the pandemic.
Yeah. We've certainly heard that
That story
sentiment.
from others.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
cool to hear. What made you go in the just self-distro vein? Just because you were forced to do that?
I wouldn't say forced, but we're not Treehouse.
Yeah.
So
What? Who are they?
not?
Yeah.
well, and they don't distro either because they don't need to.
Yeah.
You come get it.
Yeah.
Come get it. Pick it up.
But so Massachusetts is one of the states that allows self-distro, and when I got the brewery going, got on Reddit, got on Pro Brewer, got on all the places, talked to as many people as I could, and the guidance was get out there and do it yourselves first. In fact, I invited one of the distribution guys down here. He came. I think I had like 2 kettles. And
Yeah.
you can see we were meeting at 10 o'clock. He walked in, and by the second foot hitting the floor, the look on his face was, "What's my 10:30?" But he was really professional. We had a nice short conversation. He tried some of our beers, and he said, "Look, here's my advice to you: get out there, do this yourself, grow your book, so that when you're ready, the conversation will be a lot more meaningful."
Yeah.
And we're still doing it. The pandemic obviously slowed that down a little bit, but it gets us eyeball to eyeball with our customers. That's really helped build that rapport.
5 years ago, what would you have said Merrimack Ale was known for?
5 years ago, the free samples.
All right, 5 years later, what are you known for?
Our tap room, lots of live music, Bruins games, and a couple of our beers like Cheetah and the Goza series.
Don't forget the great trivia that you have as well. Did you say trivia?
We don't. We Thursdays we do trivia. And then we were also, before MLB killed them, we were on board with the Spinners here in Lowell.
Yeah, but there's a rumor they might be coming back.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'm not going to say anything out loud because I just want it to happen.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, we need baseball back in this city.
Yeah, being a
That'd be nice.
UMass Lowell alumni, I agree. I mean, going to the school, living in this community for a while, Lowell has a soft spot in my heart, and this brewery especially. It's very Lowell, DIY, working class
Yeah.
establishment. And I say the same thing about navigation with what PJ's doing. I think the beer scene in Lowell, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Very Lowell. It's not Merrimack Valley. It's Lowell, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, it's not trying to be
I
anything
can
else.
see
It's
that.
yeah.
Why have you stuck in Lowell?
Well, part of the 5-year plan you didn't ask me about was we're not in the best location. We're off the beaten path, which, okay, that's part of our charm. It was also the only place that was available when I wanted to launch the brewery, right? And the plan was, okay, if we can gut it out 5 years on Bolt Street, hopefully we'll be in a really good position to find a permanent home. Kind of like Idle Hands did, like Night Shift did, right?
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, we got set back a couple of years, so we're still on the same path. It's just a little bit of a pause and reboot.
Absolutely. Joe,
Yes.
when did you come into the fold?
Well, it's funny. I started here as a sales representative in January, beginning of the year.
This
But I've
year,
known Adam.
2022.
2022.
Wow.
I've been involved, when I say been involved, I've known Adam around the same time he opened. I actually knew Pat when he was over at Duquesne.
Yeah.
Pat Slattery was a friend of mine, went to high school with him.
Yep.
Here's to Pat, by the way.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
So with that being said, I've always been a fan of, local craft beer. And I was here. I had some friends that homebrewed. I could say I was involved a little bit, but I can say more or less I drank my part.
Yeah.
But I always appreciated it. And I got to meet Adam very early on in the process here. So I was here I was one of those tasting guys on the jockey box. And so we had some conversations over the years, and I was in, the sporting goods industry, apparel. That took a huge hit with the pandemic. we just had a conversation at the end of this year, at the end of 21. And, with everything that had happened with the pandemic, the representative that was here had left. And I just said, we just had a conversation. It's like, hey, I know the story. I've been here quite a while, seen what you're doing, and I'd like to be a part of this. And if it makes sense, let's do it. So here I am. And we're out there selling. Three-prong approach. We got the tap room. We have the restaurants and the liquor stores, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Have you seen things bounce back? I mean, you're out there. You're one of the frontline people for self-distro. I don't think we asked that question enough, but where are we? Pre-pandemic, or are we still at...
Are we over it now?
Yeah.
Or-
I don't necessarily know if we're completely over it. I think it's definitely getting back. People are starting to go into restaurants.
Yeah, and I'm
people
talking
are
strictly
starting-
number-wise, like beer sales, like,
Well, as I talked with Adam, obviously we have a tap room here. We we sell to liquor stores, restaurants. That is definitely over just the last few weeks we've seen some nice sales.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely bouncing back.
It's getting warmer.
Well, it's getting warmer. Who knows what this latest variant's going to do? But people are coming back out. So part of the effect of the pandemic for us was we'd had a sales guy. We were doing on our distro stuff. We were doing very well pre-pandemic. Our sales guy left, put the search out. Right, found another guy, got him on board. Very excited about it. He had repped for a couple of other breweries. Very experienced. I was super excited. He made it a week before. And what it was, and here's the thing. Okay, here's the human side of it. Single dad, had a daughter, had taken a break from the beer industry, had a side business that he created and grew into a full-time gig. And then the pandemic shut us all down. And he came in that eighth day, if you will. He said, I can't do it. I said, yeah, I know. I can't expect you to go store to store to store in this thing where we don't know what's going on and put your daughter at risk.
Yeah.
So we shook hands and off he went. And it took me, that was March. It took me until August to find a new sales guy because no one wanted to scamper.
Do that.
Yeah,
Right.
And so then we got a new sales guy, and I would say we hit a level plateau. So it was workable. And then he went and got himself a nice job. So very proud of him. And then the timing was perfect when Joe came on board. And, dry January, whatever you want to view it as, January, February, I think were rough. I think they were rough for everybody. But we're seeing a nice pickup at this point.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Beer-wise, what are the beers you're known for today?
The three we have on the table today are around. So Strike Zone Blonde, it's actually a beer we created for the spinners. It's just an easy drinking 4% blonde ale. The one that you've got is the current version of our Goza series. We fruited up different ways. That one's mango. The one that everybody really loves is the lemon blueberry.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Cheetah, our double IPA, has been a big hit.
That's what Ryan has.
Yeah.
Is it good, Ryan?
Yes.
And the other one that folks really love, it's gonna be a year-round beer from now. Is a collab we did with Alpine Butcher here in town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the brothers pestered us for a year, like, come on, guys, make us a beer. And what we ended up with was our chocolate peanut butter stout.
Yum.
Nice.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's tasty.
don't
Yeah.
forget the neighbors hazy IPA.
True.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty popular. I had that last time I was here, I think.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with that. We're getting it into a lot of stores, restaurants.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
been good.
awesome. Nice.
Being kind of you're the face of the brand when you go into liquor stores, restaurants. Merrimack Ale does not have the same name that Sam Adams has, that
Right.
Night Shift, that
Sure.
any of the craft beers that you see, right? And this is no offense, but how do you sell this?
I think you have to look at it from an approach that we're local,
Yeah.
and I think that now more than ever, I
That
think
means
people
something.
appreciate local and what it
Definitely.
means, especially with what we've been through and how, support your local business, support your local pizza shop, support your local,
Yeah.
what have you. And so, that's something that we I definitely talk and say, hey, we're local. We're down the street. You know, you can't get beer any fresher coming off our bright tanks.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming from the bright tank to your, you know,
Yeah.
literally we're like taking beer to a restaurant. And
It's the closest thing to farm to table that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So pretend Matt is a restaurant or a packy store. Sell him the beer right now.
I was
Go
like
for
Wolf
it.
of Wall Street. Shit. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Hey, Matt, nice to meet you. Joe from Merrimack Ales.
Hey, we're selling a ton of seltzers this week. So, like, what do you got for seltzers?
Seltzer.
What's wrong with you? What's your problem, man?
Oh, man, I don't know. That's what the people want. We're in the hole. It's
No, I would just say, listen, you know, we're a local brewery, about 10 miles as the crow flies.
Yeah.
We produce, you know, a wide variety of, you know, we have IPAs. And I think that's what we try to do is we try to give, you know, its drinkability. And so when we're talking about beers, we're not an IPA house. You know, that's one thing that Adam, and we, you know, I've knowing him over the years, he's always tried to make beers for, you know, if you don't like IPAs, you know, we'll have the strike zone for you.
not many
Well,
people have blonde ales. So it's like,
Yeah.
And it's
you
a
know,
great blonde ale, too.
We have a brown. You know, we're in Yard House now because we have a brown ale that was able to be accessed, and it's a great, tasty brown ale, and it's on tap at Yard House now.
That's awesome.
And,
Yeah.
and so I think what I say is just, hey, we're local. You need beer, we're down the street. You know, we'll get it to you. Not in a couple of weeks. We can have it for you. If it's available, we'll have it for you in a couple of days.
yeah.
And we get calls, you know, from time to time. Hey, you know,
Our tap's out. Gotta
that-
fill this tap.
Yeah, that you know, that cheetah is moving. Can we get some more? We just got a call from a local restaurant. They sold so much beer over the weekend. They needed to place another order, and we delivered it today.
That's awesome.
So that's, you know, that's kind of what we try to do.
So I'll jump in. One thing on me is the owner. Festivals are starting to come back.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things that we still hear from people, there's a brewery in Lowell,
Oh, God.
and now it used to
Okay.
be. Well, did you know there's actually 3? Well, now there's 2.
Too, yeah.
So for me, it says, okay, I have to rethink the numbers, and we need to put more into multimedia advertising. We got to get the word out.
We do that.
Yeah.
Which we've been doing that recently. We actually just about to wrap up and sort of relaunch a kind of evolutionary rebrand.
Ooh.
Everything's getting a little bit tweaked.
Nice.
2 good partners. One's the guys at Kodo Design. We've been following their workbook, and then through my professional network prior to the brewery, connected to a guy who's a fantastic graphic artist and branding dude.
Yeah.
So excited that that's all coming out.
We're going to see if we can have you reveal more on the other end of this messages. Take it away, Sun Guy, right?
Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4 Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts.
And we're back! Oh my God, we
Oh my
saw it in
goodness.
sync. That
You
was so
owe me a
cute.
beer.
Aw.
Jinx. Yeah. All right, so what can you reveal?
Well, pretty much all of it, especially because the new website's already out.
I was just on that recently. It looks really
Yep.
good, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really neat. The conversation that we had with the graphic artist guy. He's like, so your tagline is the art and science of brewing. I said, uh-huh. He says, what is that? I'm like, well, it's kind of my background. So I'm an engineer, but did a lot of art, and obviously I like brewing. He goes, yeah, but you're not really screaming about either one of those. I was like, okay, fair
Fair point. Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
Yep.
hurt my feelings, but okay, go ahead. And I was like, damn, you're right. And so he's redone our logo. The original one I did, it's, kind of the Merrimack River with the Tingsboro Bridge and all that. And
Which traffic is so fucking terrible over that bridge, I have to say.
my son plays hockey at Skate 3.
Oh, yeah. My girlfriend lives in Nashville. I know all of
58 months a year.
Yeah.
And yeah, trying to get through that intersection.
It's the worst.
Fun.
Yes. I digress, though.
So here's
Moving on.
part of the upgrade is the new logo doesn't have the bridge on it.
All right.
100% upgrade.
So, you don't have those visions of frustration.
Right.
No,
right.
but if you're selling the local thing, like someone sees the
However, we do have it on the neighbor's hazy IPA.
Oh, okay,
can.
good.
Yeah.
It's still there.
So we still get that logo.
I
You can
actually
still get that logo.
I drove up to Sullivan's one day. I'm like, we need a new label for this. And so I drove up to Sully's. I hop out and I've got the phone. I'm
Yeah.
taking pictures, and everybody's looking like, what's this freak doing?
Sully's ice cream for those people who don't know, right?
Sullivan
Yeah,
Farms.
yeah.
Sullivan Farms.
Thank
Not
you.
Sully's. Sully's is in North Chelmsford.
Because there's like,
I know.
I'm
I know
a
what you're
Chelmsford
saying.
guy.
Yeah, I know
so,
what you're saying.
I mean, you can't say Sully's.
Yeah.
It's Sullivan
Sullivan
Farms, in
Farms.
Tingsboro, and Sully's.
and you
Owned
can
by the
tell-
same family.
Family, yeah.
You can tell I'm not from here.
Well,
So-
then yeah.
The new logo, actually, it's a blend of our tanks. Like the top half of it is like fermenters, and the bottom half is some steampunk gears.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
And steampunk has been part of our intended image all along, just because I really dig the whole steampunk vibe of that steam leather wood analog to today's digital solid state technology. And brewing's been around for 80 gajillion years, so
Yeah.
we live it every day.
Yeah.
It's definitely the art and science, I think.
Yeah,
Steampunk.
and so this guy Eric was interrogating me, and he's like, "Well, so what about the rest of it? Who does your labels?" I'm like, "I do." He goes, "Does anybody know that?" I'm like, "My wife does." So that's where it all came about. Like our tap handles, I put together 2 this morning. We get the maple at Sherburne Lumber in Tingsboro. They've been a lumber yard since George Washington was president.
Yep.
And so we actually hand cut them, sand them, do the whole thing in house. It's that kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, you need to let people know this. This is part of the whole sort of craft and authenticity that
Definitely.
is your industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the sciencey part of it is don't poison people.
Yeah. So
There's some math involved in brewing.
Right.
So the original interview, we asked you what your role at the brewery was, and you said owner, and brewer, right? What's your role at the brewery now?
Jeez.
Let's be honest.
Let's be
here.
honest, because I mean, now let's
Tell your story.
let's listen.
Everything.
Let's listen to that marketer. What do you do? Come on.
Everything.
Well, so at the first go around, you're right, because I had Pat. Pat was my brewer.
Yep.
Now, in a shop our size, job titles are kind of just for the cards. 'Cause, I don't know, whatever needs to be done, you got to do it.
There's not a card big enough for all the titles.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hefe.
So, another knock from the pandemic. I will, in fact, we're in the hiring throes again. Finding production help has been a real challenge.
Difficult for everyone.
And
Yeah.
Ryan's nodding his head. He knows. He knows.
yeah, so since the middle of last summer, I have been literally the brewer, the keg washer, the cellarman, the mop the floor guy.
Janitor. Yeah.
It's a lot.
We split it up. The barrels behind you are the demarcation between the tap room and the production floor. And so we've just literally defined it as which side of the barrels do you work on, right? And for me, it's yes. Everything. When we got the tap room going, I think my brewer at the time, Mark, and I were working 10, 12-hour days running the brewery, and then we would literally wash our hands and start pouring pints.
Yeah.
And it hadn't really changed.
Yeah.
So right now you are looking for production help.
You're
So-
looking for production and sales. Like I was looking at your post today, and it looks like you're hiring a few spots.
So
This is as of May 2022.
Right.
I just want everyone to know.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
When
listening
you look at
back.
this down the road,
yes.
who knows?
Yeah,
I hope the positions are filled by the time it's there.
Me too.
Yeah.
We have one of our bartenders is retiring. This is part of working in a tap room was part of his goal. So he's going to be moving on, sadly. Good for him. So we're going to backfill there a little bit. Now that we've got Joe busy and keeping us busier, with store tastings and events happening outside, we're looking for a couple of brand ambassadors to help out with outside events, people who can work with us internally and really understand and tell our story with some conviction, right? Really sell the brewery. And then I had a great conversation with a young guy today who was in a bit of a panic. I posted an assistant brewer role on Indeed. And he pinged me last night. He's like, I got my resume together and I went back to the site and the posting is gone. I was like, well, actually, we got a really good response and I need to talk to everybody to sift through before. I said, we may open it back up. But I said, since you reached out, shoot me your resume. So he did. We had a really nice conversation this afternoon, and things are moving forward. And I'm knocking on wood here. Within the next 2 weeks, I should have an assistant brewer.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So last time I saw you were a lot less gray. So like, was this a result? But like now you can focus on other things, right? Like this is going to be good. Like, this is good for you, right? Like let's look at this. This is good.
I will give full credit where it's due that most of the fact that there is actually no gray hair, right?
It's just blonde, right?
It used to be brown or black or red, and then it goes white, and the gray is whatever color is still residually there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, as long as it stays stuck to my head, I'm a happy kid.
I'm going through that. I get that. Yeah.
So most of the color change is attributable to my son, not the brewery.
Oh, of course.
Where's your son? He should be here.
What is he doing?
Well, right now he's behaving.
That's good. That's good.
Let's see, right now we switched out of hockey and right now is soccer and lacrosse.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in fact,
nonstop.
On Friday he turns 11.
Okay.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
a little. Maybe
he's still kind of young. He can clean kegs though, maybe. I don't know.
Oh no, he comes in like on vacations or whatever. He's been doing it for a few years, and he can mop better than anybody.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love a good mopper.
So, but yeah, I still laugh. God, when I was opening the brewery, reading as much as you can, talking to people, asking all your complete noob questions. And I remember one article in particular, this couple, they had retired, jettisoned from their corporate gigs, and they got their little stoic Vermont barn, and they were going to open up their little brewery, and they got it going, and there was a little Q&A article with them, and they had nice pictures. They're standing there in the brewery, and the guy's got hoses, and the wife is standing there, like, looking at him. And in the Q&A, they're like, what really surprised you? And they're like, the hours are really long, and this is hard work.
Yeah, right. No one said it was going to be easy.
I'm like,
So you want to be a brewer?
Did you do no work?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. That's like probably what you hear first. It's a lot of work. People don't understand the
Yeah.
And then
labor.
The innate ability of a brewer to hear liquid falling on concrete.
Worst sound.
And the panic that ensues.
Oh God! What fixing is loose? Yeah. What is happening? Yep.
Money's on the ground.
Yeah.
What do you feel about some trends though in beer right now? I mean, you see a lot of different beers out there in the wild, and you probably hear the feedback. Like,
but you know what? It's crazy. I mean, what I see, honestly, is I see an amazing movement to RTDs. You know what I mean? So like, I'm at a tasting and there's a whole like shelf and coolers full of these ready to drink. So we're in a competition with other breweries, local breweries, larger breweries, and now you have ready to drinks available and all these. So it's just a lot of competition, and it's really finding your niche and trying to find the right places, because not every place is gonna sell our beer. You know what I mean? And not every, we want our beer sold, as many places as we can, right? But sometimes it's not the right fit. You know what I mean? So we're we have really great partners locally, and we're looking to, as we build and continue to grow out, is just finding those right. And how we're doing it is a grassroots approach through the tastings. do the
Yeah.
events.
Yeah, so we sat down. I think we went out last summer and picked up, I don't know, 12 or 14 commercially available seltzers, right? Thinking, okay, God, is this a train we got to hop on? And so we had a wonderful hour of getting buzzed, drinking.
We did a March Madness
we did
style
that, yes.
thing. We were fucked up.
Like, okay, we're all just going to hang in the brewery for the next
Yeah.
Cry in the corner.
And honestly, parsing through the language of the licensure and what you got to do, and we're
Anything
like,
else?
you know what? We're going to pass on this one.
Yeah.
And other things like over the last few years, glitter beers. Just okay. I had to say, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time we talked, it was like brewed IPA. So it's like that's not
Well, so we did a brute, and it did well. And guess what? We're bringing back this summer.
Are you
Wait,
bringing the
really?
brew?
Yeah.
Are you calling it a
Nice.
brewed IPA?
Upper atmosphere.
Ah, I love it.
Love it. That's great.
I'm excited because that was a really solid beer, and it was a fan favorite. And so when he
Nice.
told me he was bringing it back, I think we're gonna get. And it's a great beer in the summer too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good style.
Yeah, like
Cool.
the whole milkshake craze. Because we didn't have the tap room yet.
Yep.
We tasted, and every single one that had been packaged. I remember my parents were visiting, and we're sitting in my kitchen, and I had poured one out. It was, I don't know, a pomegranate, whatever one, and I poured it into a pint glass. I went out to start the grill. I come back in, and my dad, "You gonna drink that?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Look," and literally lactose was like a snow globe. It was raining out of
Oh, my
suspension, and the bottom inch and a half of the pint glass was a fog of lactose.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is the last one. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So one other trend that has happened is everybody wants to be healthy, and so there's the rise of the low and non-alcoholic brews, right?
Yeah.
The science side of me is like, ooh.
How do I do that?
Well, and I've got a real good friend who, through life choices and whatnot, does not consume alcohol. So he's my sounding post on the non-alcoholic stuff. And look for one.
Look for one.
Actually,
Stay tuned.
Look for 3.
Ooh. That's cool.
I have a question. Do you have any rules for NA? But we do have to keep the lights on for us at the Brewers podcast, so we're going to take it away to some sponsor bumps.
Take it away,
Take it away.
sound guy, right?
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brute sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
And we're back.
Oh my God. Joe's been practicing that for like an hour and a half. It's me.
That's why you can't ride with him.
We've all we've been rolling our eyes. I'm just kidding.
So sick of it.
When you brew any beer in general, but non-alcoholic, we've heard a lot of brewers say like they have certain rules in place, like self rules, like they want to make sure A, it tastes actually like a beer. B, do you have any of those rules in place kind of with your NA stuff that you may or may not be brewing that you probably are brewing that you can't commit to?
So we're still safely in the R&D stage.
Yep.
It's quirky as all get out because there's like 3 or 4 different ways to go at it, right?
Yeah.
Sliding along the this tastes like garbage scale.
Cardboard.
Well, yeah, and part of it is the trick. You can either make a beer like in the old days. You can make a beer and then you can rip the alcohol out of it a couple different ways, which results in this tastes like garbage. And then you can be Elon Musk and go in with your reverse osmosis system.
Oh,
Co-owner of
yeah.
this podcast now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other way, there's vacuum distillation. There's all these other enhanced ways to go at it. And the gist of it is, if you brew it in such a way that it isn't there in the first place, you don't have to take it out.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the path that we're on, is how do you flip that rock and make it work, right? So yeah, it's got to have the mouthfeel. It's got to have. It's the same basic premise that the brewer makes wort, yeast makes beer.
Yep.
And therefore, you have to present your particular strain of yeast with the right wort, the right grist. The grain has to be right, and that's some of the important stuff. Basically, you got to give it shit it doesn't like to eat. And you got to use a particular strain that doesn't like to eat anyway. So anybody who grew up with finicky kids or siblings, it's that one. You only eat hot dogs? And so you pick one that doesn't like to eat, you give it shit it doesn't like to eat anyway, and then you give it an environment where it's uncomfortable.
Make something.
and yell at it, right? And that's how it comes out. It should get you well up under the federal less than 0.5% ABV. And that's where we're tinkering at this point, is fine tuning.
Yeah. Do you think there's a big call for it in the market?
It depends on what big looks like to you. Okay.
Well,
so
1%.
I mean,
Well,
but
Big enough where he's brewing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I think there's just, like he was saying, there's a contingency of people that are looking at, hey, I want to have beer, but I don't want the alcohol.
Right.
But I want
they
it to
want
taste
to
like
go
beer.
to a brewery
Yeah.
and have that experience,
So, yeah.
but not have the
Yeah,
beer.
but I
per
want
se.
it-
if you're the driver, or if
Right.
you're out, or if you, my wife's cousin, if he has alcohol, he gets raccoon eyes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, so people, there's all kinds of different things, right? Anybody who's carrying a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So almost infinite number of possible scenarios. If you hold up the flagship at this point, it's got to be athletic.
Yeah.
Reading last year that they closed out a $17 million fundraising round.
Yeah.
They bought one of Ballast Point's shops out
Mm-hmm.
in San Diego, and they threw $5 million at a canning line.
Yeah, they
$5
skyrocketed
million.
last year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And we brought our canning line up here on a U-Haul trailer.
What are you doing?
So is there a niche? Is there a market for it? Absolutely. The caveat is there's a market for anything that's well done.
Correct.
If you want to keep churning out stuff that tastes like garbage, no. and that's the challenge, right? There's the quality bar. Our entire industry, the whole thing I think that craft beer has brought is this almost
standard.
geometric or exponential
You're
lift
not
of
getting
the
by.
quality bar.
You're
Right.
not getting by if it's not tasting good.
Do you think that's the case?
What? That it tastes good, or
No. That, to go to your point, that craft beer, though, there is a bar, and are people constantly trying to exceed that bar, or have people become comfortable? I know we don't want to call names, but I mean, it seems like there's new breweries opening up all the time.
So we got our city occupancy permit September of 2015. At the end of that calendar year, the Brewers Association published that there were 4144. So 4,144 breweries, and they were all hooping up because it had surpassed the previous high water mark of 1873.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So fast forward to now, where there are, that's right, 2.5 times more breweries open than when we got our permit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the intimidating wall of beer in every store.
They're not
Everybody-
only on your street corner, they're on the next street corner.
Well,
They're everywhere.
and so the competition is fierce. Customer education is up a lot.
For sure.
Do you think their education's always right?
Some of my favoriteest videos ever are brewers respond to Untapped ratings.
Oh, we did that for a while.
we did
We did that for a while. We know. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
no.
I seem like it's. Listen, I work in engineering, and I know you worked in. Some people are so smart they're dangerous, meaning that they're really not smart. They just
think
smart
they're really
enough to
smart.
be vocal.
Well, so there's all kinds of different folks out there, right? So in a prior life, I actually taught survey design and analysis. I taught advanced industrial experimentation and design. you can get what you want out of statistical analysis. You can bend it mostly because of how you collect it in the first place. So when you give people unweighted 1 to 7 scale or a 1 to 10 scale, it's a Likert scale. One of the requirements of that is that you define every anchor point. If you don't, you get what you get, right? Now, get those people liquored up and
baby.
let them get out there and give that's right, Belgian wit beer a 1 because I hate Belgian beers.
It's my favorite review.
Thanks, you tool. Why did you rate it in the first place?
Why did you drink it? Why did you buy it? Yeah.
The reason just about everybody jettisoned their growler program 4 or 5 years ago was because they got sick and tired of getting that's right, quarter-star rating because I got the last pour on a growler and it was flat. So that's the brewer's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, you get what you get with any kind of subjective feedback. You say thank you and you filter it accordingly. There are categories of folks. There are normal people. Those are the people who roll up at a beer festival and they're like, what do you have that's like Budweiser? Okay, now let me talk to you for a couple minutes, right? There's I'm going to show you, I think it was Idle Hands, the home brewer who insists that your hops are wrong. You should have brewed it this way. And then you run into just that one eclectic, quirky, pseudo-intellectual tool.
Haze bro. I'm just kidding.
Haze, bro.
or at some festivals, what's the one that's got the most alcohol in it?
Right.
How many ounces did you use to dry hop this?
We've been to a few fests lately, and it's amazing how many breweries bring 10% beer to the fest or whatever. I guess it's left over from the extreme beer fest days, right? But still, it's I'm at a beer fest. I just want to try things and enjoy my time. I don't want to die, okay?
I want session beer fest.
Yes, please.
Lager beer.
There should be a session beer fest. Lager fest.
Well,
Come on.
You see those little haze bros run through with their little string of tickets. They're like a kid at a carnival, right?
Right.
And they come up in the first 20 minutes and they get your 9% Imperial IPA. And then you see them 3 hours later.
And they're dead.
And they're entertaining.
Yeah.
It's like people watching at Walmart.
Yes.
See, I wasn't going to go there, but
You went there, and I'm proud of you. So are you guys making any Pilsners, Lagers, Kolsch, any of the lighter offerings like that? Lighter, I hate that word, but...
So let's look around the table at our 4% blonde ale,
Yep.
our 4.1% Goza.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't done Pilsners. We did a Kolsch a year ago, and it did exactly like you would expect. Brewers love making beers that are difficult to make because it tests your technical acumen.
Yep.
And they don't sell for beans.
Yeah.
Okay? Unless you throw...
The brewers drink it.
Well, or they'll sit at the bar and they'll compliment
Coach me
you on
outside.
it. Yeah, there's a zillion styles that brewers love. This summer, we're talking about maybe doing some sort of a Mexican lager, right?
Love Mexican lager.
Yeah, it's a good warm weather beer.
Mm-hmm.
But other stuff, one, I'm going to honor a kid that was with us last summer. He threw out some stuff on the wall one day when we were talking about what might we do, and he mentioned coconut. Okay, that's an ingredient I have yet not worked with, but we're going to. And it's going to be one of a couple of variants. I'm going to make a cream ale. I grew up in the Rochester, New York area, so Genesee cream ale. Right?
Yeah.
The green bullets, I love them.
And so we're going to do a cream ale. One version of it, I'm just going to call regular, no sugar. It's going to be a coffee-infused cream ale.
Love it.
Cool.
Love it.
That's a good one. That's a good name.
Yeah, and then we're going to do a coconut version of it.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing people will eat it up.
Yeah.
Most likely. Yes.
So I like playing with beers in the 4.5% to 6% range, mostly because, I'm a dad. I want to be able to have a couple beers cooking dinner. I want to be coherent. I don't want to fall asleep. A 10% beer is great when I don't have to go anywhere or do anything.
Which is never.
Right, for you, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we did not ask you last time.
Uh-oh.
But where do you see yourself
In 5
in
years.
5 years? Because we'll be back here in 5 years. I guess.
For sure.
So, not here.
Episode podcast.
4,000.
500.
Yeah, right.
Where we're all hologram.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We're doing this from.
They're like, that pandemic? Yeah, it's still. No, I'm just kidding.
It's still going.
Oh, no.
No, I hope not. Knock on wood.
So, yeah, I think it's a fair question to ask at this point. And it's not really a different plan than we had before, given the pandemic reboot. We're going to be bigger. We'll have more folks on board. Our tap room will be, I'll say, 2 to 3 times the size that it is now. So instead of a 50-person tap room, larger, right? With actual outdoor seating, not in a parking lot. And our brewery will be in a more pedestrian, higher foot traffic, car traffic kind of area.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's the big accomplishment. 1, be here in 5 years. 2,
Yeah.
have a home, like a permanent home.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to make weird ass beers. We'll make some good IPAs. We'll make some good stouts. But I'm still going to be playing around with different things.
Yeah.
Love it.
I have to say, you said weird ass beers. We've seen weird beers, but you don't make like
Super
super
crazy
like
beers.
lactose glitter, kettled sour. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah, no.
They make like pedestrian weird.
We're
Yeah.
talking about beer, Matt. That's
no.
not a beer.
Yeah.
Well, like, so one that it's probably this year, as long as the pandemic stays calm and all the rest of that hoo-ha, one that would be fun to bring back, maybe a tap room only beer. Real early on, back when the whole Twilight thing, the vampires
Yeah,
and werewolves was the thing, right? I was still homebrew, and I'm like, I want to make a vampire beer. And,
Wait, what is a vampire beer? Then?
well, thank you for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we made one, and we called it Exsanguinator.
Ooh,
I did not have that one, by the way.
I was gonna say I don't think I did either. So I'm very
really disappointed
curious.
that I didn't have that.
What
So,
was
stay
the
tuned, you might.
style?
What is Exsanguinator?
So imagine you roll up, and not the glitter beer, but you roll up like today's slushy beers. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
It's a scarlet or crimson colored beer with a tight white head.
Ooh.
Right?
All right.
So Pat was on board, and I explained what I wanted to do. He's like, "Oh hell yeah,
Let's go.
So we got to scribbling and sketching and trying, and what we came up with was effectively an imperial wheat.
Cool.
Yep.
Came in around just over 9%. We brewed it with blood orange
Nice.
because vampire.
Yep.
And we started looking at, all right, how are we gonna get the red? And then we started looking at culinary articles, recipes, and all that, like what food pairings, what ingredients go well together. And our honey people at Merrimack Valley Apiaries, we went down there, we did a tasting, and the guy was like, here, you got to try all these other ones. And he goes, we got in the conversation, he says, yeah, and sometimes we send our bees over to the cranberry bog in Chelmsford. I'm like, what? You ever get to try it? Try cranberry honey.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've had that before.
So we threw a
Noted.
pile of cranberry honey in with the blood orange, and we got the color from hibiscus.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And so, believe it or not, chefs like that blood orange, cranberry, super sweet tart,
Okay.
and,
All right, yeah,
and,
all right.
and then hibiscus, of course,
Yeah.
has its own kind of citrusy thing,
Yep.
and it was killer.
Yeah.
But bum.
So,
Oh, that was a
Get
good
it,
one.
get it, get it, vampire killer, you get it?
thank you.
That was a good guess.
You're welcome.
So we'll look for that on tap here in the tap room around. That's right, Halloween.
You don't say. You don't say.
But and stuff like that. We did a chocolate covered cherry beer one time, and the impetus was we knew Valentine's Day was coming up, and the German yeast that we use to make our alt beer produces a cherry ester. So okay, let's make a double alt. We'll throw it in the bourbon barrels with a whole lot of cherry puree and let it rot for 6 to 8 weeks and see what happens. And we pulled it out, and then we threw it in the bright tank on a gazillion pounds of cocoa nibs. And it was chocolate covered cherry.
Yeah.
Delish.
And it was 9%.
Oh, I want that right now.
Yeah.
Party.
Let us know.
Yeah, it's party. Yeah. Well, I'm tapped out of questions. Erica,
Yeah, no, we're good.
you're good, Ryan. Ryan's giving the thumbs up.
Yay, Ryan!
Yeah.
Woo!
Gentlemen, thank you for doing that.
This was great.
We
It was
want-
nice to be here. It was nice to have you here.
Yeah.
I know.
Again.
Again.
Yes.
Let's make sure it's not
First
5
time
years.
for you,
First time for me, but, you
maybe
know.
there's a second.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
we want people to come here. So what is your physical location? And yes, we know you can type it into the Google machine on your phone.
So we are located at 92 Bolt Street.
Bolt Street.
In Lowell, Massachusetts.
Is it Unit B?
That's actually Unit 2, except
Unit 2.
Except nobody
Unit
uses
2.
that one anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna get most of the way through Lowell. You're gonna get down to the entrance to Bolt Street, and you're like, I ain't driving down there.
Yeah, drive down there.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay.
So
We
drive
promise.
down there. Our neighbors across the street, Greener Landscaping, they have planted Bradford pears and cherry trees. They put up a really nice fence. So as you drive in, it actually looks really nice. You come into our big parking lot with our big industrial warehouse building, and you'll see our logo out there. Come on up the steps, come on into the tap room, and enjoy.
Have a party.
Yeah.
And you have signage out too, so it's not too difficult to find.
And look out for them on social media, because I know that you are really making a kick for
They're
social
rebranding.
media.
Yeah,
It's real
That's how
exciting.
we were connecting, and this summer we're gonna have a lot of outside events, and
Yeah.
and
No, I've seen a couple bands here, music-wise. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a really nice regular weekly live music series. In fact, this Sunday we have a spring, like a vendor market.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
So now you said sports as well. Do you have a projector or something that you put up?
We do. Our
Awesome.
benefit of our neighborhood here is that our neighbors do huge convention management.
Oh, wow.
And when we got the tap room opened, I asked them about it, and all of a sudden, like an army of ants, they come scurrying over here, and in 20 minutes, they gave us this huge high-def projector
Oh,
and
nice.
real honest-to-God speakers.
That's
and
awesome.
So where I'm looking opposite us, that white wall
Yeah.
is our screen.
Very
Nice.
cool. So,
So-
a good spot to come and watch a game.
Yeah, Bees games, Patriots games. We'll be doing
Celtics
movies.
Celtics
Yeah,
are
you're gonna be
looking
doing the Celtics.
good.
They're looking real
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean we have a hockey fan here. I mean I like hockey
understand.
as well.
I
But
know
I'm but I'm a Celtics.
Basketball
I'm a-
exists.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any involvement in the folk festival this summer? Because it's coming back.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, finally coming back.
Yeah. Well,
it'll
we'll
be
see.
taking place in Lowell, where
Yes.
our brewery is located.
Yes, yes.
Woohoo.
That's a good
Yeah.
answer.
We'll be open.
Yeah.
And you can probably find our beers at some of the spots during the folk
Yeah,
festival.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Love
they run a tight ship. They run a really good organization, great event, and we're located in Lowell.
Yeah. So come to Merrimack Ale.
Come to Lowell.
Come to Lowell. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for doing this today.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We're gonna go drink more beer.
Yeah.
Yay.
Sounds
You're all-
good.
You're all jealous, so we'll catch you next week. We have an awesome episode coming up, so take a look at our social medias,
Yeah.
and just remember we are going to every other week. So go listen to our backlog catalog. Look out for us on YouTube, TikTok, whatever you have it, and if you
Give us
like
a follow everywhere.
yeah, and if you like what you hear, send us a message. If you don't, send us a message, but privately.
Yeah.
No, you can send it
Secretly.
locally. Be vocal. I don't care. All right. Cheers.
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 Cheers.